All right, we are live. And my name's Cindy, and welcome to my channel. And I have Kenny with me here, and he is an Outschool teacher, and he's sharing what he is teaching on Outschool, and I'm really excited to hear about it. And if you are here, I think my friend Kelly, she's here for the second feature, and we actually interviewed Kenny's wife earlier, named Heather. And so now we have a husband and wife team, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That I've tried to get my husband to teach for something, but he hasn't taken it.
it took Heather a couple of months to get me on board with it, but I'm certainly glad I did it now.
But it's a
It's definitely a
perfect
lot of
job
fun.
for your situation.
It
So why don't you
definitely,
go
it
ahead and
absolutely is.
share, yeah, introduce yourself and share a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, on Outschool, I'm Mr. Kenny. Some of
Okay.
my students call me Miss Heather's husband because they figured that out. So we have fun with that. We have a lot of the same kids in our classes, so that's a lot of fun. We get to know the same kids and stuff. But me and my family, we found Outschool for employment because we travel full time. We are full time RVers. We spend 365 days out of the year traveling the country, and this gives us the perfect opportunity and the perfect outlet to be able to do that. So it's been an amazing find for us to get on Outschool. Heather teaches on a couple of other platforms, and I used to teach on another platform before this. So Outschool is definitely where our heart's at when it comes to online education.
Very good. Now I have a question. You do have a YouTube channel, right?
We do. We are NOMADIC TRIO on YouTube. If
No
you want to
matter.
go check us out, and we actually show people different things to see around the country, so you can check out all of our travel and the stuff we do to keep ourselves occupied while we're on the road.
Very good. Now I have seen your videos, and I told your wife I'm a little like that's kind of like what I would love to do. I would just love to travel like that.
Yeah,
And so I have seen your video. So I'll post that link below as well so they
yeah,
can check
check it
out your
out.
YouTube channel. Yeah. So
Thank you.
did you do YouTube? So how did it all come together? Did you decide, hey, we want to travel, then we'll do a YouTube, now we'll teach online, or how did that all?
Well, it started out. We decided just kind of out of the blue. We were in a place in our lives where we realized we were spending a whole lot of money to live in a house for 4 hours a day, and the rest of the time we were working. And so we
Yeah.
decided we were going to change that. When our son came along, we wanted to give him a more time with us, and so we decided, well, why don't we just travel the country? And we had seen other people on YouTube doing it, and so we decided we'll do YouTube also. And with that, I mean, YouTube's great, but those millionaires you see on YouTube, they're not real.
Yeah,
They're not real.
it's a
So
lot of
the
work.
thing is, you have to have some kind of income to do what we do,
Right, right.
and Outschool gives us that opportunity
Yeah.
to make a living and earn some money while we're on the road. Whereas, yeah, eventually down the road, maybe YouTube will give us a couple of dollars here and there, but those YouTube millionaires don't believe a word they say.
Yeah, and it costs money, like you get
It
into it,
does.
you're like, okay, you need the computer, you need the lighting, you need this, you need that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a lot. But what I want to do here is I would like to be able to share your classes, and it's right before summer and maybe people are looking for something fun for their kids to do. And I know, like, for me, my kids, when we came home in COVID, all that, my kids got online and they started
yeah.
playing video games and stuff. And I know people want to get away from that, but
Right,
this is a way that they can actually learn something and have fun with it and have a teacher that loves what they love. And it
right.
just, to me, it really is a great thing.
It opens up the world to your children too.
There
Because
you
the
go.
thing about teaching on Outschool is there's going to be moments, there's going to be classes where your children might be in a class with a child that's on the other side of the world.
That's
And
right.
that's something they may not have experienced before. And that kind of opens up their world. It kind of expands their mind to go, wow, kids on the other side of the world are like me. They like the same stuff as me. They want to learn the same stuff as me. And that you kind of see that with some of the kids when they come into that classroom for the first time and they go, wow, that's pretty neat. I just had a class with a kid in Australia or a kid in China or a kid in the US. That's something that's really exciting to them.
Yeah, and I'm in New Hampshire, and a lot of times I get students from like California,
Yeah.
I had students from Canada, England, Ireland. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And you get what they love. Like they come, a bunch of kids say, I want to do a class on dinosaurs. They come in, they're excited. The teacher's excited. It's just a whole new experience of learning, isn't it?
It is. And it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. I mean, I know we do this for the kids, but it's a lot of fun for us, as teachers. It's a lot of fun to be able to, in a classroom environment. Sometimes you got to take it down a notch. You can't be as loud because of the classroom next door. I'm in my room and I can get excited. I can get pumped up just as excited as the kids, and that gets them into that mood of wanting to learn and wanting to absorb when you're as excited as they are. And so being in an office in front of a computer, I'm allowed to do that. I can be as loud as I want to be, unless Heather's teaching in the other room. Then I have to tone it down a little bit, but
if you're in the forest somewhere. So did you go to school to be a teacher?
I actually did not go to school to be a teacher. I did go to school. That just wasn't my original plan. Honestly, before all of this, I actually had no idea that I would ever be a teacher. I just didn't think I had what it took to be a teacher. Before I was an Army drill sergeant for a while. I was like, those would make terrible teachers.
No, I don't know.
And then somebody goes, well, no, you're teaching kids how to just do something different.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. And so when Heather talked me into doing Outschool, I was kind of hesitant and I was really nervous for my first class. And after that first class, I was just like, why haven't I thought of doing this before? And it's a lot of fun.
Well, Outschool is kind of new too. And to make the money that we're making, doing this type of it's a lot of people make even more money than they would at a brick and mortar school. So
most definitely. Yeah.
So
and that's one thing that's nice about Outschool. It gives you the opportunity to kind of establish your own rate. And and that's not to say they give you, well, they do, but it's not to say go overcharge somebody. And I don't see teachers doing that. I don't see teachers doing that. But you are allowed to set your own rate.
People just won't sign up. I mean, the truth is, if you had a high price and somebody signed up for it, then they must think you're worth it. So,
hey, there you go.
It's your choice. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll just look at your classes here.
Sure.
Okay. I'm still a little slow on this one. A few clicks. Here we go. All right, here we are.
Oh man, I haven't seen my profile video in a while. I may have to update that one.
Yeah. Wow, 645 parent reviews.
And one thing about the reviews, the reviews are great. I love my reviews. The other thing that Outschool gives you the option of is actually follow. It's almost like being on Facebook or on another social media platform. The parents can actually follow you, so they can click follow you as a teacher, and every time you post a new class, they get a notification that, oh, Mr. Kenny has posted a new class. Miss Heather has posted a new class. Go check it out. And that's a number that I actually started paying attention to, is the amount of followers. Less than 100 of the kids that I've taught don't follow me. And that's a big thing. That's if we're looking at this from the sense of a business standpoint, you want repeat customers in anything, in any business. And that is actually where most of my students come from, is from repeats. They come to one class, and Heather, I know, sees the same thing. They come to one class and then all of a sudden they've taken all of your classes, awesome. And so that's something I pay attention to on Outschool, is the amount of the ratio between students taught and following me. So that's something I pay attention to.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so tell us about, you have an Ocean Explorers camp.
Oh yeah, I cover a good amount of stuff. I do an Ocean Explorer camp, which is an ongoing class. You don't have to be there for every class, so you can come and go as you please. But in that class, we explore different aspects of the ocean, whether it be ocean creatures, whether it be ocean zones, just different things. We've talked about sharks, whales. Next week, we're talking about sea lions and otters. And in that class, we have crafts at the end of every class. So that's one of my younger students. That's geared more towards my younger students. I think that one I have set from 4 years old to 7 years old, and they have a lot of fun with that. We have a lot of fun with the crafts at the end of the class. And then for my older kids, I actually have a history camp that every week we go through and we talk about different events throughout world history. And we don't focus on one central area. We cover world history. We cover the entire world. And that's something that I do because, again, you're teaching children all over the world. You don't want to don't want to just hone in on American history because you're in America. You want to teach world history so you can teach them some of their historical world events also.
Awesome.
But then,
so how is your class set? How is your class set up? Like, do you show slides? Do you show videos?
I mainly do Google Slides for mine. Okay. I'll put together a slideshow. And that's one to keep me on topic because I can get off topic in my classes sometimes because I get excited about the subject. So to keep me on topic, and also it gives the kids a visual. That way they're getting it from both sides. They're getting that visual aspect, and they're also getting the audio aspect of me talking them through the event. I do some videos. I don't like being one of those teachers that just roll the cart in from the AV room and put a videotape in and let it go. So if I do videos, I normally try and keep it to videos that are under 3 minutes. I don't want them to sit there and just watch a video. I don't think that's what parents want either. I think the parents want there to be interaction and teaching, not just playing a video. So I try to keep my videos, if I have any, I try and keep them pretty short.
Yeah. All right. So like, say for a history class, do you use props or how do you make it interesting for the kids?
Well, history class, that class is actually for my older kids. And one of the things that I do with that is I'll try and relate it to something that's relatable to today. And so if we're talking about, a battle that happened or something, I'll try and relate that to something that they can understand today. And we can have fun with that. We can start putting it into, your mom came and took your iPhone away. That made you angry. That's kind of what happened here. They came and took their grain away, and it made them angry.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the funniest person in the world, but I have a sense of humor, and kids like my sense of humor. My wife hates it, but the kids enjoy my sense of humor. And so I throw that in there, and we have fun with it. And I try and get them to where they're talking. I like it when the kids start to do the teaching a little bit. When they start to teach, because then that's when the wheels are turning.
Yes.
When they start to teach, that's when it gets fun.
Yeah, that is very true. Now, do you seem to get kids that, like, I teach knitting, so I'll get kids that love knitting. Do you get like history gurus, or do you get kids that their parents just want them to learn history?
A little bit of both. When I started my history camp, the first day, we just kind of had like a little icebreaker. Let's talk about why you want to learn about history. And I had the kids that said, I'm just really interested in history. And I had the kids that said, well, I think that's how we understand where we are today, is by understanding where we came from, which I'm like, wow, that's an amazing answer. And then I have the kids that,
it's older kids, but it's only up to what age?
That class is 7 to 12. 7 to 12-year-olds.
Still pretty young for an answer that.
and then I have the kids that also come in and go, well, my mom told me I had a Zoom meeting at this time, so I guess this is the class I'm in. But
I'm that mom. I'm like, oh, you have another class, another one. Well, my friend's teaching a class, so you're taking it.
But the great thing about that,
they love it.
Those kids are still in the camp. Yeah. And it's not because their parents want them there. They've gotten used to being in that group and those kids, and they've opened up and they participate. And it's not just, oh, I have a Zoom class, they actually enjoy coming every week now.
Realize it's fun. Yeah, so I have a question here. What time period of history are you covering?
I have done everything. I go all the way back to the Neolithic era, and we just did a class last week on the Great Wall of China. So, I mean, we cover it all. Awesome. And so, and with that, I also let the kids have some some input on what the next class is going to be. If
Okay.
there's an era or an event that they really want to learn about, and they ask me, I enjoy putting classes together that a specific event that they want to know about.
Oh, awesome. So you're not necessarily going in order. You just kind of randomly pick.
I go in order for the most part, and
Okay.
then for just to break it up every now and then, because I know sometimes they might get tired of going and
Yeah.
so I'll go, well, what do you guys want to learn about next week? And that gives them a chance. That gives them that spark, that excitement again, and then we'll get back onto the timeline.
Yeah. So do you do games or anything like that, or are you just mostly sticking to teaching?
I mainly just do teaching, and that works for me. Now, like I said, with my younger kids, I do crafts and stuff. The thing with doing crafts on a Zoom platform, if you've never done them before in a classroom environment, it's pretty easy. When you're trying to tell a kid how to make something holding it up to a camera, it's a different ball game.
Right.
So I do crafts with younger kids, but with the history class, we'll do like kind of quiz show type games, but not like nothing elaborate.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds great. Yeah. I'm like, my son is 13, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for next year. This year I did homeschool, but we did, DVDs because they had been in school before and I wanted them to cover everything. And I paid a lot of money for that, but I like this interaction, with real people.
Yeah, and like you said, and then the interaction with the social interaction with other children. And so, and I always make sure, especially in my camps and my history camp, we'll leave a couple of minutes at the end of class for us just to talk and have fun, and that's something that they look forward to, just being able to socialize with one another, and it kind of builds those friendships amongst them. So.
Now, I have some teacher friends, we have some groups, and we're talking about advertising for Outschool. Now you guys are traveling. Do you have any cards, like business cards? Do you pass stuff out in real life?
We do. We do keep business cards with us. And then the other thing, we're not the only family that does this. We're not the only traveling family or full-time RV family. We run into them all the time. And some of those other families do have children that are in school and they're homeschooling and they're doing great with it. Mm-hmm. But this is a good way for even homeschoolers to supplement the lessons, and that's something that.
So I guess I would just request you're out and about, get some cards out, get the word out for Outschool, and we're all going to kind of work on this because I think we're getting so many teachers in, and I think a lot of people, they really don't realize what we have here. Right. They have no idea. They're stuck to a school, for hours on a day because it's their school that their kids went to. They could break away from that and have fun.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And, and it's kind of one of those things of where you can find. This is something that's really helped me and Heather is you give your children the opportunity to find somebody they connect with.
Right.
And that's something I've got students now that their parents message me and go, hey, could you do a class on this? This is something they're really interested in doing. Could you do a class for this? And that gives the parents an opportunity to have a teacher that they can reach out to that their child connects with. And it helps both sides of the equation there. It helps the teacher and it helps the parent and the student.
Right. I'm so excited because it's really funny because I had some VIP kid friends that we were all teaching, and then we were all like, maybe we could help each other. I have one friend that teaches Spanish, one friend that teaches like government, one, we all had different abilities, and we're like, maybe we could make this work. We could teach each other kids. And that was before Outschool showed up. Yeah. And then Outschool showed up and we're like, ta-da! Wow. Yeah. Actually redo the whole entire, we can just really, and it's fun, kids really do love to learn, and you give them the right environment, they do love to learn.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
as long as you make them comfortable,
Yeah.
and and make it to where they're enjoying the time instead of
Yeah.
just feeling like, oh, I got to be glued to a chair for the next 4 hours or something. Let them have
Yeah.
fun, and let them cut up. That's one thing with my classes. I don't mind if they cut up a little bit. That's kids. They're going to do that. That's okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't let them run the class. Don't let them run the class. But let them have fun. And
yeah.
let them cut up every now and then. It
Yeah.
makes it fun for them.
It does. It makes it so that they're saying, hey, learning is actually, I teach math to little kids and they don't realize we're actually doing math, but we're having
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
And they, if it gets too structured, then they start going,
Yeah.
but just bring the fun back into it and they catch right on. So it's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Well, and just for the people that are watching, if you feel like you want to try something different than what you're doing now, don't be afraid to. I almost made that mistake. And now I feel like I'm doing something that I actually enjoy, for a career. I enjoy my work now. I'm not doing that just normal grind. And as you said, there is plenty of opportunity here for teachers, and there's also great opportunity for the students. And it gives parents that opportunity to narrow down what their children are learning. And so if you haven't checked out Outschool, by all means, teachers, parents, students, definitely check it out. It is worth the time, and it is worth the effort on the teacher's part, and it is worth the time for the parents and the students to look at.
That is true. And also below, I'm going to put a link for a free class. Like if you've never tried Outschool before, you can try a free class. You get up to $20 rebate on the first class if you've never done it. You could look into it as a teacher. If you're afraid that you don't know how to do it, there are tons of people on Facebook that are helping other teachers get into the program. And if you don't have any kids, you don't want to teach, share this video because
absolutely,
has kids and somebody take these classes.
Somebody that could use it.
Yeah, exactly. Spread the word for us because we want kids to be happy. We want kids to learn and be happy learning and just share the amazing stuff that we have to offer.
I think that's the dream of every parent. You want to give your children every opportunity possible, and this is another chance to give them another as many opportunities as possible.
Right, exactly.
But I'm so glad that I was able to come and do this interview today and to share my experience with Outschool. I really enjoyed it.
I have just been so impressed. Like I was a home mom for many, many years. Then I started teaching online and I met the teacher community, and I was just so honored that I could meet all the amazing teachers all over the country, all over the world now. I know teachers all over the world and that I know well. I have a lady that she lives in Ecuador and she comes to our church services online. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's amazing what connections you can make and make the best of a hard situation that we're all kind of in right now.
Absolutely. Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And I hope to see you
ma'am.
around and have a great time teaching. And if you ever want to come back, let me know.
Absolutely. And, thank you.
Keep the videos coming on your channel too.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Y'all have a great day. Thank you, guys.